enjoying the conversations, bringing hope and healing, this next one would still be of interest to you. We are talking to Tioni Talbert. She's an author and poet, and she's here to speak about reclaiming healing through transformative poetry. Good morning, Tioni, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you were able to bring 3 publications with you that highlights some of your work as a poet. But before we get into that, let's talk a bit about your journey in poetry and writing in general. When did this begin, and why were you drawn to it?
So, the first book originally was that one, Sunflowers.
Okay.
So, that one was basically about my experience being in a abusive relationship. So, after I managed to leave the relationship, I visited a therapist, of course, and she advised me to start journaling. She said, you know, journaling helps a lot of people when it comes to dealing with the trauma.
Yeah, and expressing themselves.
Right. So I started journaling. Only journaling was a bit boring for me. Just writing it down.
That's
was
some
a bit
honesty.
boring.
I love that.
And because it was, I decided instead of doing just basic writing, let me turn it into poetry.
Yeah.
So I had an old notebook where I started writing them down. And you know, at times, if you're up, say 12, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., that's when you start thinking, okay, all the creative juices are flowing at that time.
That's when the thoughts get much deeper.
Right. So that's where I generally started writing. So I'd be up all 2, 3 a.m. writing repeatedly every day. Every day I'd get up and start writing until it turned into that. And that was in 2019. And this year I found the list of poems, and I decided to revise them and turn it into a book.
So let me just read a portion of this one,
Okay,
right?
go.
So this is, and there's so much, I just skipped through like, oh, I'll read that one, I'll read that, but I'll read it's a portion of this one. He missed, right? You spoke about abuse and abusive relationship. It says, it was supposed to be a joke, light-hearted, harmless, like the way we used to be, but then a thud, sharp ear, a rib folding like paper under his fists. His eyes were oceans, wide, storming, sorry. I meant to hit the mattress, he swore, and I believed him. Because love doesn't come with bruises, right? Because monsters don't cry after they break you. So I pressed my lips to his apology, held him like I had done the damage, and whispered, it's okay, even though it wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is beautiful, but almost haunting.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I am not able to read that from here. I do not have
This
my
one
glasses
is A
on.
Hug from Home. What book is that one?
That's
This as well? Okay, so our producer likes this one, and she wants us to read this one, right? So Sabrina is challenged visually a bit, so I'll read this one.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate you.
I pulled the curtains closed and the world disappeared. Daylight knocked, but I didn't answer. I didn't want to explain why I was still breathing. For 2 weeks, I lived like a ghost that hadn't decided whether to haunt or leave. I ate air and swallowed sleep.
Wow.
Only when my body collapsed from remembering. Message piled up like unopened prayers. I turned off the phone, turned off the mirror, turned off me. They said, just come outside. You need sunlight. You need people.
Wow.
Cool.
I feel it with you, Paul. I'm right
see.
there with you. This is so beautiful,
Yeah,
Tioni.
it's so vulnerable.
It's so vulnerable. And,
Yeah.
you know, oftentimes we find, when we talk about music, for example, and artists who write music, they would say that the artist is able to verbalize things that you might feel but not be able to express. You're not able to find the words to describe what you're feeling. I think that was such a beautiful depiction of someone trying to understand the trauma that comes from abuse, and the way that you would rationalize you know, and justify staying with a person, but also the reaction from the public when they are not aware of what's taking place as well.
Yeah.
That
This
I
this
have
is
no words.
I would highly recommend Sunflowers, and I just because that's the one I've read some of it so far, and I like the description on the cover, which says, "He gave me flowers to silence me. I wrote poems to scream," and that's exactly what you spoke of there. Letters to the Dead. Which one was your second publication?
Okay, so I can
Made-
read from here. Fortunately, I can
sure?
see this close. Yes.
Kind of smiles.
They actually are. I'm sorry, guys. I did not wear my glasses today. But I want to read a couple of the items here.
There's some
they're also
shorter
so
ones and-
beautiful. So I'm going to read this one here that's a bit shorter that says, "From the ashes she rise."
I think
it's a full. It's
Okay,
a full thing.
well, it's
Maybe
longer.
just 2 stanzas. Just read 2 stanzas.
Okay.
This is not the start. That's the start.
All right. There was a time her body was a battlefield. Silent wars fought in shadows. Pain written in skin and bones. A map of scars no one saw. Desire was a whisper, buried beneath rubble. A fragile seed crushed by hands that never knew love. She learned to hide, to shrink, to mute the fire inside, to survive without feeling, to protect what she left. But somewhere beneath the wreckage, a spark waited. Quiet, stubborn, refusing to be extinguished. Healing is a slow flame, a trembling hand reaching for warmth. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
A dance with shadows, learning the rhythm of her own breath, finding the edges of herself again. She claims her body not as a broken thing, but as a temple rebuilt. Each bruise a story, each scar a testament to the light that refused to die. Desire returns, not as it was, but stronger, wiser. A phoenix rising from ashes, fierce and whole. She is not her pain. She is the fire after the storm. She is the song that remembers how to sing.
Just Mike.
Wow.
Hey, you like that?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. It's
Yeah.
so beautiful.
It's incredible that you just opened the book, you found the poem, and it's
Yeah.
so good. Where were you in life at this point?
So this one I did started earlier this year. This
Okay.
one is mainly about being a woman, what it's like going through womanhood in all aspects, whether it may be your reproductive health, whether it may be injustices. We have rage about certain injustices towards women. So this one actually got sparked from.
Yeah, it sounded like a
Clearly,
continuation
like a
of healing.
continuation,
It
yeah.
sounded like a continuation of conversations that you would have with yourself and with others, where healing is concerned, and what women would face after coming out of an abusive relationship as well.
So in this one that I have here in Sunflowers, I didn't generalize that one to specifically only being for women.
Okay.
And mainly because there are men that goes through
Very
abusive
true.
relationships. So I didn't want to specify that one, which was the reason why Made of Mountain Memory came about. So this one is specified to women.
You are very purposeful, it appears, about what you write. That's intentional?
Yes.
It's not just like you sit down and random thoughts come to mind about it. You're intentional
So-
about what you put on the paper.
I started with the random thoughts.
Oh yeah, that's what I was
I started
thinking.
with the random thoughts. After that, I began to rearrange,
Yeah.
then read, and then make my intentions clear. You know?
Before we go to Letters to the Dead, the producer says she has another one that they want us to read off the screen. They're over there beaming about
Yeah,
some of
they
these
are.
poems, right? And so we're gonna bring that up now. Yes. So this one, can we scroll it up to the top? We could read from the start. What's the name? Always Together. So this is from Sunflowers.
Yeah.
All right, good. So that seems to be their favorite. It was 2 a.m. after music, after drinks, and pretending we were normal. We curled into the hammock, his head on my shoulder, the sky spilling stars like secrets. He told me about his father, how he beat his mother until she bled silence, how he watched and did nothing because he was small and afraid and only a boy. He cried like a child who'd never been held right, said he wanted to be better but didn't know how, said he was failing, and I whispered, me too. Reminds me of a song. I love that. I love that. Now, moving to letters to the dead.
Yeah.
This one, yeah,
So I have a lot of questions about this. I think off the top, it probably has something to do with grief.
Yeah.
But I like the way that this book is depicted as well, because if you can see on the inside, it looks kind of like a rubbled yarn that sometimes you would see visually to describe kind of like the chaos in someone's mind. I remember when I went through my worst bout of anxiety a few years ago, before understanding that that was what you would see to describe anxiety, I always try to explain to people that's what I felt in my mind. And so talk to me about the concept of this book and why you got to this point.
So, in 2016, my mom lost her sister, my aunt, and we were basically at her every weekend, every summer, every break that we had from school. She practically helped raise us. And she passed away in 2016, which was, in a way, a lot for me to deal with because I've never had death so close to home. And then 2 years ago, I lost a close friend of mine. She got sick and passed away. And then this year, I lost both my grandmas within the span of 3 months. So I lost one of them in February and lost the other in May. So it was, this year specifically was a lot of grief to deal with. And I started thinking about, you know, we have this thing in our family. My mom's mom, my grandma that passed away, whenever we're going through any type of hardship, she's the person we call. We'd video call her and talk to her. And a couple months ago, I told my mom, when I was leaving the house, I was thinking about, you know, sunflowers, and my friends were encouraging me to publish it and so forth. And for a brief moment, I picked up the phone and I was about to call her. And I called my mom and I told her, you know, just now I was about to call Gran. And she said it happens to me every now and again too. And there's so much, especially now that these are out there, so much things that I'd want to call her and tell her, but I'm, you know, not quite able to, and that's where that comes from.
I want to read one of the letters here because you have them listed as letters.
Okay.
Is that intentional? Did you literally go about taking it on as letters?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is letter 4 and it's titled, I don't know what to do with my hands. I fold them, unfold them, rub the thumb into the palm like I'm pressing something out. A prayer maybe, a memory, a ghost that won't stay put. I hold a cup of tea I don't want, stir it twice, don't drink. The spoon clangs too loud for how empty this room is. I straighten picture frames that were never crooked, pull at loose threads, pick up lint, pretend the mess is the reason I can't breathe. I scroll, I click, I type how to feel less alone into search bars that don't love me back. Once, these hands held you, tucked your hair, buttoned your coat, caught your tears like they were something sacred. Now, they hover. Over keys, over cups, over bed sheets, tired, twitching, useless. No one tells you grief is a muscle memory, that your body will keep reaching for someone it already knows is gone. And in the quiet, I don't know what to do with my hands except miss you, the only way they know how.
Bro, that's a tearjerker. Yeah.
Wow. This is, I feel that this could be one of those books where, you know, when they say when you feel sad, you listen to sad music, but it almost feels kind of healing at the same time. This is definitely something that I think could be useful in that way, because when we think of grief, sometimes it feels like an isolated experience that only you understand what you're feeling. but grief really looks differently for everyone as well.
does.
And I think a resource like this could be helpful to, again, find the words to describe what you're feeling, and to also recognize that it's not an isolated feeling. It's a human experience, and to grieve is to love at the same time. It means that there was love there, and there is still love. This is such a beautiful book. All of them are so beautiful.
I don't know where you've been.
Yeah.
But thank you for
And I'd love to get
sharing
into your
gift.
mind after that, right? Like, I just want to hug you. But
Thank
I
you
also
for
want to
sharing
talk
your
about your pen name, Somaya. And perhaps we can close with that there, because for persons who might want to go about buying the book, they won't find it under the name Tioni.
No.
Talk about the significance of your pen name.
So I married into the Muslim faith, and in doing so, I also became Muslim. And Somaya was the name that I chose for myself, mainly being that Somaya in history was a sister that fought and was martyred for her religion. And one of the main reasons why I chose it is it's not I'm going to use the word, it's not because I'm quote unquote pig-headed, but it's because if I believe in something, I stand by that. I stand by that. Yes, I'm open to listening, open to hearing your ideas, and in any case, if whatever you have to share with me changes my thoughts on something, then by all means, I love the idea of that. But whatever I believe in, I stand for.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well,
Beautiful.
Your work is exceptional. You're exceptional. Thank you for sharing your gift with us.
And
Thank
again,
you so
thank you
much.
guys for having me.
And please
course.
come back.
Yeah,
I mean,
come
we
back.
could sit here and read this all day.
Right?
But unfortunately, we do have to take a break. But we have wonderful conversation still coming up next, so don't go anywhere. Open Your Eyes returns in just one moment.